Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Message in a Bottle. My name is Pilar.
I'm Paloma.
We are two sisters who live far apart and love to stay in contact with voice notes that we call Message in a Bottle. We wanted to open those up to the rest of the world. So that is why we're here, and we're excited to kind of share what we've been thinking about this week. So welcome. How's your week been, Paloma?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. I have made a few trips to the farmers market. I will have to say that I used to live in California. Now being in New York, the farmers markets are a little bit inferior, but of
Oh,
course they would be because I used
is
to
that
live
a
in
hot
the.
take, or is that just a
I think that is a, what do you call it, fact.
fact? Just
California
pure
is the
fact.
breadbasket of our country,
Fair, yeah.
and I
New
got
York
very
is
spoiled.
yeah. I wonder where are the local farms that feed the farmers market in New York?
Upstate, which for
Got it.
anyone who's never lived in New York City, I used to think that upstate meant like actually in the upper part of the state. That is not actually true. Upstate just means pretty much anything north of New York City. So that kind
Okay.
of constitutes like all of the Hudson Valley and not all the way upstate. That would be different.
Got
But yeah,
it.
there's a lot of farms up there. And I feel like there's a similar kind of trajectory that I saw in the Bay Area with folks who, come to live in New York City, make their money, work in these really rigorous industries, and then just choose a more quaint, quiet lifestyle and do a more homesteading type situation upstate. And that happens in the Bay Area too, like up in Sebastopol and Napa Sonoma, etc. So anyhow, all that to say that there are still farmers markets here with local ingredients being provided. So I've been hitting those up as spring emerges and hopefully more amazing summer produce, summer and fall produce. But in the meantime, just been honing in on my veggie game.
It's a vibe. Farmers market is definitely a happy place. Gotta love it.
It is, and right now I live so close to one that
Yeah.
I'm like, this has to be a weekly thing.
So is yours like farmers, or is it a lot of like the ones here? They're fun but disappointing in a way because it's a lot of prepared foods. It's your breakfast burritos, it's your matcha stands, it's your versus vegetables and
Sure.
fresh flowers or something.
Yeah, I would say I've been to two different farmers markets in New York now, and I would say both of them are a mix of both, primarily whole ingredients that you can cook, but a lot of meats, eggs, cheeses.
Ooh,
And
love that.
obviously those are very expensive
Yeah.
versus, so like not as many farm stands, like just
Totally.
with vegetables. A lot of apples. Must be a lot of like apple orchards nearby. So apples and all the products that they make, the juices, etc.
Ooh.
But a lot of the cheese, milk, eggs. So good stuff nonetheless. But I'm always down for more veg.
Totally. But
Yes.
sometimes they do have fun things like homemade hummus or things like that I like to get at the farmer's market. But I can't wait for that to
Yeah, I've
pop
seen
up
some
here.
kimchi,
Love
local
that.
kimchi, local pickles. Haven't seen any hummus though. So yeah, maybe I can make it an effort this summer to try to hit up all the different ones to know which is the creme de la creme.
Farmer's market tour.
Exactly. So yeah, that's what's been up with me. What about
That's
you?
what's up. I am getting ready for a big trip. As I spoke about last week, my husband and I are going to Spain for 5 weeks, where we're going to be taking some Spanish language classes. So just feeling a bit excited, kind of those butterflies. Been reflecting on this feeling that I have because I've felt this many times in my life, and it's an uncomfortable feeling, but it's the best feeling because it notifies you that you're doing something that is worthwhile to do. So getting outside of our comfort zone, traveling, all of that, all of the work that goes into, being an adult and having a dog and having a house and getting things prepared before we go. And just, those nervous butterflies of not totally exactly sure exactly what we're going to encounter, but it's an adventure and we're so excited. So
Yes, I love that. It takes so much preparation to be gone for so long. Like you said, you have your routine in your life and you keep a dog alive and maintain a home and all of that. What are you most looking forward to for your trip?
gosh, just being in Madrid, being in Spain, it's my happy place. I'm so excited to walk around, sit in plazas, tomar algo, like just vibe. I guess
Spanish time,
be on
with
Spanish
the
time,
vibes.
take
Yeah.
siestas. I'm excited to go back to school too. I mean, it's been a huge goal of mine to improve my Spanish. I've never been able to formally, pay for Spanish school. When I was teaching abroad in Madrid, I was on a super tight budget and I couldn't afford Spanish classes. So I'm excited to be able to do this. And as an adult, to just continue to learn and push ourselves. Excited to see friends, of course, eat good food. Gosh, just the walkable life, though, I think is something that I don't have in my current life. And it's so funny that like that's the most exciting thing. I'm excited to walk everywhere. And
I think that is exciting. I think it's
yeah.
amazing to be able to the pace of experiencing a city on foot. There's a reason that urbanism exists.
Mhm.
And there's a reason that there's an entire profession dedicated to transitioning cities to have that functionality because it works and it's great.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Freeways, not great. That's not a
Not
high
great.
quality of life. No, no.
No, it is not. It is not pleasant. We all have road rage and people are cranky in their cars and it's not a beautiful way to to get about at all.
Nor is
You
it
and I
beautiful to look at.
no, none of it all sucks basically.
It's not
Car
cute.
life
It's really, really not cute.
ain't cute. No, hating it. Hating it.
Is there anything that you are not looking forward to or dreading, dare I say?
I have anxiety about long haul travel. It's not my fave. I've done it many a times. Been very blessed to, but gosh, getting on a flight for 9 hours and then having to go through customs and like overnight, just all of that,
It's
like
involved.
it sucks.
People glamorize the shit out of travel.
Mhm.
And that is not glamorous. There's
No.
nothing glamorous about being squished in a little metal tube without access to things that you might want, with access to a shared bathroom with all those people, with, let's
Mhm.
face it, mediocre food that has been
Yeah.
oversalted.
Yep. I'm packing us little
That's
dinner
perfect.
boxes because I actually feel like sometimes the food makes you feel so shitty because it's so gross and so salty. And I've seen so many flight attendant videos where they're like, we don't eat the food. Shit's not good. So
A
I'm
lifetime of
packing
that,
us.
could you imagine?
Yeah. So I'm packing us sandwiches and some grapes and stuff to stay hydrated too, because I feel like I'm always so dry on those
You
flights. So
should
I'm
get some
trying to
electrolytes.
electrolytes. Yeah, good call. I probably should.
Yeah, like those little like Noon tablets are like quite lightweight and small, compact. Could
Smart.
be the
Good
move.
shout.
Or liquid
That
IV.
compression socks. We're like
Just
getting
keep
all
upping
geared
your
up.
game, upping your little first
Sam
aid
got
kit.
noise canceling headphones. I got a Nick pillow. We are like getting geared up and like we're going into battle. We'll see how this acting like it's crazy. But yeah, especially, I mean, man, the older you get, the less comfortable. I've never been stoked or comfortable on long haul flights, but as I age, I'm less excited about it.
Part of the journey, though. So yeah, you'll have
Part of
to
it.
keep us updated on how it is there. And yeah, I think we'll be bringing you some episodes
We will.
from España.
Yes, next
So
epi
something for our
from
audience to look forward to.
yeah, get excited. Okay, so should we get into what we've been thinking about this week, our little musing of the week?
Let's do it.
Awesome.
Vale.
So, vale, que venga. Vamos, ole. This week, we have both been really excited about learning more and consuming content created by the brand Nude Project. So I'm going to give us a little background and then we can kind of jump into our thoughts about it. Nude Project is a Barcelona-based streetwear brand founded in 2019 by Bruno Casanovas and Alex Benyok with just $600. They each put in 600 euros. They each put in 300 euros and they basically were working out of their dorm to start out. They have grown into an insanely successful, large project, recognized globally. They just opened a store in LA. They have stores across Europe. The two founders have such a Gen Z meet cute, like a way that they met each other. Bruno was living in Bali and he was making YouTube videos that he said were getting a couple hundred, 200, 300 views. And Alex saw those videos, enjoyed the videos, and reached out. And they
All
became
the way
friends.
from Spain.
From Spain, yes. Yes.
And they're both Spanish, but they didn't have any prior connection. They're not from the same city or anything like that.
Exactly. So made friends through the internet, and this brand came to life and has been such an incredible collaboration of these two minds, these two visions, two different, sets of skills, two friends trusting each other, learning and growing, two very young men who have been incredibly successful early on. So that's just a little bit of the background.
Yeah, I think it's also important to note what the Nude Project consists of, because I think
Mhm.
that's why it's so interesting to us, because essentially what they've created is what I would call like a universe.
Mhm.
So under that universe, obviously they have content on most platforms. They have an Instagram, a TikTok, which are very, very distinct, actually. I think that
Mhm.
a lot of brands are cross-posting or maybe making small changes here or there, but theirs are nada que ver. Like they're quite different, distinct visions, content that's
Mhm.
being created. So I think that's important to note. They also have their physical stores as well as their online shop. They have hosted curated parties and special events in different
Mhm.
cities. They have done pop ups and activations. They have a podcast,
Yes.
which is really an interesting additional component where they have interviewed musicians, they've interviewed other founders, successful founders from other parts of the world. And they also have a YouTube channel where they are really showcasing a lot of behind the scenes content of life in a fashion brand. So that's
Mhm.
the universe as it kind of exists. And maybe there's even components that we don't even know about. But maybe to kick it off, I'll ask you, how did you find out about Nude Project?
The first murmurings I heard about it are from a friend who lives in Spain who told me that he loves the brand. So it was on my radar as a clothing brand to start out. And then just more recently, you kind of told me that you were really enjoying the podcast. And I jumped right into watching the YouTube videos. And that has
Yeah.
been my absolute favorite. I love the YouTube videos because and I think both of us were obsessed with creative process. So I love seeing behind the scenes. Like there's something so good to me about watching Bruno and Alex, behind the scenes opening their store in Rome and kind of talking about the challenges and talking about their vision and getting to see the architects show mood boards of what the Rome store is going to be, all of that stuff. So that's my favorite access point into the brand.
Yeah.
When did you first hear about them?
So, in addition to you learning Spanish, I have gone on my own journey working towards fluency in Spanish. Primarily, I accomplished this during my year traveling through South America. It was a big goal that I had while I was there. And maybe at another time, I can share with our audience a little bit more about what was successful, what wasn't, etc. But a huge part of that journey was consuming content in Spanish. And
Mhm.
so the primary place that I practiced during my South America journey was in Argentina. And I realized as time has gone on that I have become more practiced in Argentine Spanish than in other Spanishes,
Mhm.
and that can be a limiting factor. And
Right.
it's the essentially I have come to terms with the fact that being a Spanish speaker is so nuanced and that there are every single country has its own version, even within the country, a different version. All that to say that
Mhm.
I would love to maybe live in Spain again in the future or just visit again and in, a long format trip, etc. And all that to say, I wanted to focus on practicing my Spanish comprehension. So I literally Googled best podcasts from Spain. And theirs was the number one podcast. I quickly looked at it on Spotify and I saw that there was some people interviewing celebrities, which at least in English context is content I find interesting. So I was like, boom, 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 downloaded a handful of episodes, started listening. And that was my entry point into the brand. And I think for me, is part of why I find it so fascinating to talk about them and the universe, because
Mhm.
I've been thinking about it, the universe, as maybe some sort of like building. And the metaphor is that there are many doors from which you can enter and many windows from which you can peer into.
Mhm.
And we both came to it from different things. Neither of us own a piece of their clothing. Neither
Not
of us.
yet. Not yet. I'm gonna go get myself something
I
in
really want you
Madrid.
to meet Bruno and
Oh
Alex.
my god. That would be amazing.
Can you be besties with them?
Hey guys, I'll be in Madrid in the month of May. Come through.
Collab, podcast collab. Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, that's how I found out about them and have since discovered more of the fashion side of things. You told me about the BTS content, which I had no idea about. So there's just a lot there and I think it's really cool. So
yeah,
I have a question. You ready?
please. I'm ready. Yeah.
What aspect, as we're on the topic of the universe,
Hmm.
what aspect of it is the most interesting to you? And yeah, I guess how does that relate to how you think about maybe the brand as a whole? You alluded to it a little bit with the BTS stuff, but
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to, of course, go visit one of their stores in Spain because I think that they put a lot of thought into the experience of being in the store and all of the touch points and the physical touch points. So I'm excited to kind of experience that, and I'll definitely share back what that's like. But as someone who doesn't live near a store, I I love enjoying the YouTube videos and getting to know their personalities, getting to know kind of their creative process. They talk to different folks that work on the brand, from, clothing designers to marketing specialists, architects. I mean, everyone involved. So, yeah, I think my favorite aspect of it is just learning about the inner workings of this
Mhm.
brand and the trials and tribulations, and, yeah, kind of their thought process too. They're a great blueprint, I think, for a modern brand that is touching people from a bunch of different angles, like you said. So, what about you? What is your favorite aspect of the universe or the brand world?
Yeah, I was actually quite enticed by learning more about the events that they've hosted and
Mhm.
how that has enabled them to really connect with their audience, with the people with the people who are followers, with folks who are owners of their clothing. And I work in the events industry,
Right.
and I think that's why I find it so intriguing, because
Mhm.
more than ever in this day and age, brands and founders are really acknowledging the importance of the IRL touch points and
Absolutely.
of the way in which people can feel connected to the brand, and
Mhm.
that having events that create memories
Yes.
are so crucial. So yeah, they had this event, I think, that was called Come to Bed or something like that in Paris. And I really went down the rabbit hole with listening to the interviews where they chatted with folks out front of the store who had waited in line, and some of the imagery
Mhm.
and of the actual event itself and what it meant to partake in that. And I think that that's what I find fascinating, is people are partaking in the brand by doing things, not just wearing the clothes on the street. That's right.
Yeah.
The way in which
It's a
they're,
lifestyle, and
yes.
they definitely it's a lifestyle brand. What was the Come to Bed? Like, what was the concept of the event?
So I think that they had one line of clothing that was maybe associated with this, but there was a performance art piece that happened inside the space. Pretty simple space, white linens, some bed type furniture inside. And then my understanding is people went inside to experience the music and the movement from some performers. And they also, I believe, invited folks to doodle and draw. And at the end of the BTS video on this event, they showed the different art that people drew and created during their time in this space. So it's multidimensional. And
Mhm.
I found that to be really beautiful and inspirational as someone who wants to make epic, memorable events.
Absolutely. I mean, I think I work with brands. I work at a marketing agency, and we just recently kind of talking about how important these experiences are. And I don't know if we're filling a void because if this is a reaction to the digital age that we're living in, I think it might be. That's my hypothesis, that people are spending so much more time on their phones, and that brands are seeing this as an opportunity to kind of fill this void of community building. And I think, touching something in real life that you get to experience has it's a more profound impact than something you experience on your phone. I mean, I think it's all valuable, it's all important, but these in-person moments, like you said, you're making core memories, you're connecting, you feel so much more attracted to and attached to a brand that you had a real life, positive, fun, different, creative experience with. So, I think that aspect is absolutely very interesting and something that all brands that are going to be successful moving forward need to have as a component of their brand strategy.
The other thing that came up for me was having exposure and a through line directly to the brand's founders.
Mhm.
And I think in this day and age, it's really an interesting tool that artists play with. I think there's seemingly like two choices that people make, and it's hard if you sit maybe in that in between. And the two options would be being completely anonymous and clandestine and very private about your person, about your world, about your inspiration, about your personal life, or the complete opposite end of the spectrum, which is where I think Alex and Bruno fall, which is that they have decided to really let folks in and see the inner
Mm-hmm.
workings. And I have to imagine that people are also connecting with them as people, and that is another huge reason that people care, because
Mm-hmm.
both of them are very compassionate, smart, charismatic,
Charismatic,
and you want
charming.
to hear them talk about their brand, and you want to maybe it's like maybe and to an extent like a bit of a parasocial relationship. By participating in their brand, you feel
Mm-hmm.
like you can be one of their friends or be in their crew or something of the sort.
Yeah, and I think fashion is such an important part of self-expression, I think, in throughout history. But especially in the modern age, I think a lot of us really, really put a lot of weight into how we dress and how we show up. And th- I think that as consumers, how much more attractive is it? I'm speaking for myself, but how much more attractive is it going to be to go to the Nude Project and buy a shirt, and I know the founder stories, and I'm so excited like for them, and I feel like I'm participating versus just like going to Zara or going to H&M, these giant corporations that feel like I don't know m- I don't know their story. I don't feel their ethos. That doesn't feel like something that is a meaningful contribution. Of course, I mean, I know I do. I still shop at those types of places, but this feels much more meaningful as far as fashion as a form of self-expression and self-identity. And um, I think I think that like we spoke about last or a couple weeks ago with another founder-led kind of founder-forward brand, Dairy Boy, started
Uh-huh.
by Paige Lorenz. I think people are more enticed to buy something from someone who they feel like they know, someone who's taking you along the journey with them versus just some big box store, big box corporation.
There's a lot of power to that, no doubt about it.
And back to the experience and to the stores, I kind of want to relate this to something I've been seeing, which is people being really waning on nostalgic about old mall culture, which we grew up in
Okay.
the heyday of, if you
Oh
don't
yeah.
mind. Um, just just been seeing some people kind of reminiscing about old Hollisters, old Abercrombies, old Victoria's Secrets, just kind of all of these stores that created this like creating an experiential store is nothing new. The Nude Project did
Sure.
not invent this. Hollister created these dark, created this story, whether it was real or not. Apparently, it was not. In the case of Hollister, it was a crafted story, a made up history of being from California and what have you. But still, the way that those stores immersed you in the brand experience, I think, is again these physical in-person touch points
And they
that are.
tap into memory and nostalgia
Hmm.
and a through point to the brand. Literally the other day, I ordered some summer shorts from Abercrombie online. My
Hmm.
roommate sees the package in
Hmm.
the living room on the floor. He's like, "Oh, do they spray it with the cologne?" And
Still.
it is part of the identity of that brand, the way in which you
Hmm.
experienced the stores, and it still carries through all this time later, even as they've gone through a bit of, rebranding and all of that stuff. So yeah, very much so. I think we are in a new era of what that experience looks like, and especially because physical retail looks different because it needs to because of the online globalized nature of things. So obviously that's where I think pop-ups and activations come in, and
Hmm.
more temporary touch points to buy physical products in addition to obviously the online component of it, but it's all part of the world.
Yeah, the smell is interesting. I did see some people unboxing Nude Project clothing and saying it has a unique smell. So I'm excited to see if they have a
Okay.
signature scent that's brand association. But that is taking a page right out of Abercrombie's book because that is a core memory. If you're a millennial, if you're our age, you be
You
knowing.
know.
Oh man, stuff was
So funny.
fire.
Yeah, well, I think it's a pretty momentous moment for us to have this conversation because A, you're going to Spain this week, in a couple days, so
In a
soon.
few days.
And also because they had some pretty big moments in the last couple weeks. They
Mhm.
launched a massive pop-up store in LA right around Coachella to really capitalize on that big moment, and then opened a secondary flagship store in Barcelona, I think a couple days ago. So pretty major moment. And yeah, if you have heard of them before, throw in the comments, how did you hear about them? And
Mhm.
would love to hear if folks have any other thoughts about modern branding, and if they have other brands that they have followed that have created a universe that you think we should take a look at. We invite you to engage with us in the comments on all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Would love that. Love to hear from y'all.
Please do. Well, we could go on and on, but I think I will move us right along to share our inspiration of the week. Teacher, what has you feeling inspired this fine week?
I am inspired this week by Miss Meryl Streep herself.
Go.
She is a goat. She has 21 Academy Award nominations, the most of any actor, both male and female. She's won 3 of them, and she has 33 nominations for Golden Globe. Again, most of any actor, 8
It's a
wins.
lot.
That's a lot. She's been acting professionally for 50 years. She started her career on the stage and moved to film. I'm super inspired by people who are crushing it at an older age. To me, that's goals. My goal, I don't have aspirations of being retired. I have aspirations of being a 76-year-old queen on the red carpet in fantastic fits. Her fits for Devil Wears Prada 2
Yeah.
have been stunning. She's smart, she's educated, she's an advocate. So I'm a big fan of her, more as a persona than even her work. A lot of her work is fantastic. I love her in Devil Wears Prada. I haven't seen some of her more award-winning work, to be honest, but
Yeah.
I think she's fierce.
She is fierce, and I think you're so right. I agree with you. I have a big goal of being that age and having places to be, people to
Yes.
see.
She's booked and busy, baby. We'd
That's
like
how
to
I would
see
love
it. That's
to
what
be.
I want. Yeah.
I mean, and I think it's really impressive when you are a celebrity that is known by all generations, and I would say she is one, right?
Mhm.
If you asked people our parents' age, or if you asked, even, and then we know about her, and then a whole new generation, I would imagine, is starting to engage with this new film, Devil Wears Prada 2, and yeah, they've done such a fun job of finding cohesion with the previous film and really tapping into that nostalgia. So I think she's awesome and a really cool person to look into, and maybe it's a cool moment to revisit some of those prolific films that she's been a part of.
Absolutely. Yeah, I need to watch Kramer versus Kramer and Sophie's Choice are on my list of works of hers that I have not gotten to watch, but I
Okay.
shall.
Yeah, I haven't seen
Add them to your list.
either.
Either?
Either. I haven't
I
seen.
think. Oh, yeah.
Thank you. You finally got there.
Period. I was like, what?
So yes, I can add that to the list.
Love
And
it.
I do want to see Devil Wears Prada too.
Absolutely. Yeah. We loved the first one. Are you excited for the second one?
I'm always a bit skeptical about sequels, redos, what have you, spin-offs, anything in that genre. But I think it's gonna be sick because they had a fat budget. So
Yeah.
if nothing else, if the storyline sucks, the fashion is gonna be on point. You'll get to see all your favorite actors who are incredible and funny, and I think that they're really gonna lean into some jokes that are going to be fun if you've seen the first and love the first. So
Absolutely. And I did see an interview with Meryl Streep where she was talking about how amazing it is and how great it is that this movie did have such a big budget, because the first one didn't, because it was dubbed kind of a chick flick. And she's talked a lot about, women in Hollywood and, just kind of the way that women-led films are not necessarily funded in the same way that a male-led film is. And honey, things are changing. Devil Wears Prada 2 was funded, and that's amazing, and we love to see that. So
Yes, we do.
what are you inspired by this week, Teach?
Yeah, I wanted to share an experience with our audience that I had a few weeks ago, actually, but it just continues to be something that I think about and thought would be worthwhile to, dig into a little bit. So I went to an event recently at I don't even know what you would call this place. It's part store, part community space. And they had an event in which artists and creatives could bring a piece of work and share it with the group for feedback.
Cool.
So they've been doing, believe that this is a monthly series, and it was my first opportunity that I had time in my schedule. It's completely free, and I was so inspired by being in a room with creatives, being in a room with creatives who were putting themselves out there to strangers, and so inspired by the collective vision of dedicating an evening to this effort of furthering the ideas and iterations of other people's work. So I got to see someone showed a song that they have been working on. So they didn't live perform it, but they played the audio version of it, and alongside it showed the lyrics. There was someone who's working on an animated short series who showed the first couple minutes of the pilot episode, and this person it was incredible. He wrote the script, developed the characters, did all the animations himself. He was standing kind of behind the projector and was mouthing every joke as it was like on the screen, and
Obsessed.
It was amazing. And again, it's one of the things that I love so much about living in New York City is that there are events like this, although I know that there's creatives everywhere and they find ways to bond and connect and what have you. But I find it so great to be in that space. And I'm a person who more recently has been trying to tap more into my creativity. So just being in that space felt great, and hearing about what's working well for other people. And that got me, always thinking about my own work and what I can do. And so, I've kind of set it as a goal for myself to go to another one coming up soon and to share some of my work and put myself out there.
Yeah, putting yourself out there is absolutely inspirational. It's scary. It's liberating. It's really, really cool. What are you going to share?
That is TBD, but I would say I have two ideas. One would be to show some of the photographs that I have taken for a photo project that I have called Seats in the City.
Shout out Seats in the City.
Yep.
Go follow.
Find me on IG. So that's one idea. I have quite a collection of photographs that I've taken over the course of like how many years at this point? I think since that was a pandemic project that I started. 6 years in, pretty consistently. So I have stuff from every era, every year of that. So I think it'd be cool to see what other people think about it. I think it's a really cool project, and I've obviously shared it with friends over the years, but I'm not sure what people think or if there are certain images that resonate more with others. So that's one idea I've had. I also do a bit of writing, a bit of kind of like freeform prose.
Yes.
And so I might select a piece that I have written to share and read aloud to them.
I love it. You have a lot of great projects to share. I mean, I think that'll be really cool to get feedback from people. I think it's an important part of the creative process. It's a part of, I work as a designer, so it's a big part of my daily life is creating stuff and then getting feedback and being open to that and having to receive that and be okay with it. But it is different, I think, when it comes to artwork, that you're truly just creating out of the urge to create art versus I very much have compartmentalized design as, it's for a purpose, it's commercial, all of that stuff. But when you're really putting your own heart and soul as an artist into something and then sharing it with the world, that can be very rewarding, very
and the huge
too.
difference that I see too is the discernment needed to finalize or finish a piece
when is
of
it
art.
done?
Exactly. So for you're not the final decider. Someone else decides this is good enough. This is exactly what the client said that they wanted at this exact moment in time. Boom, let's ride.
Yeah.
And for the rest of us, we're all out here being like,
is it done yet? I could do more.
Should
I could
it be
change
done?
it. Yeah. That is really true. That's an important the aspect of the creative process. How do you know when it's done?
I've really struggled with that as I've
Yeah,
started writing because you could, in theory, edit endlessly.
endlessly.
Yeah,
Right. Oh, wow. Yeah, so having some outside perspective on that is helpful.
right. And then do you go for one round of feedback, two rounds of feedback? Right. Where do you land with all of that? So,
Right.
yeah.
Very
Anyway,
cool. I
very
love
cool
that.
event. And if, yeah, others who live it anywhere, something to try to seek out in your own city. There are, I think, everywhere really cool people doing cool things and trying to, yeah, be IRL with other people and share and learn together.
Mhm. Beautiful. I love that.
Yes. Love, love. All right. I think we're on our
Leslie,
last little segment here.
let's go.
Let's do it. I'm going to kick it to you, Teach, to share your recommendation of the week.
Reco of the week. Okay.
Poo-poo-poo-poo.
I actually have 2 copies of this, I realized, but it is a book
I think
called
one of them might be mine that
Oh,
you
maybe it is that I gave
bought for
you.
me that I, anyway.
Wabi Sabi. It is for artists, designers, poets, and philosophers. It is a principle that I enjoy, learn from, definitely rely on in a lot of ways. It's a Japanese aesthetic and philosophical concept that finds beauty in imperfection, transience, and simplicity. So there's a whole book about it, so I can't completely explain the entire thing, but essentially it's about finding beauty in the transient. And it's
Okay.
very focused on seasonality, it's very focused on natural forms, impermanence. Nothing is permanent. Decay is part of the process and it's beautiful. Um I have tagged one part that I really wanted to read that I think is amazing. Wabi Sabi is exactly about the delicate balance between the pleasure we get from things and the pleasure we get from freedom of things. So it is about aesthetics, it's about the things in your life, but it's also about balancing that with the freedom and not getting too caught up in obsessing over those things and just being in tune with nature. One of the tenets is also greatness exists in the inconspicuous and overlooked details. So finding the beauty in those little things, finding the beauty in the imperfect, the beauty in the natural, accepting that change is inevitable and accepting the inevitable and really living in the moment. So I encourage you to check this book out.
Excellent recommendation. I have read it. I think it is a very beautiful concept. I think Americans could stand to learn a lot from the Japanese because they do a lot of things that we do not do well. And I think,
Absolutely.
yeah, aesthetics, minimalism.
Mhm. Mhm. Wabi
Mm-hmm.
Sabi. A little
Wabi
bit of wabi
Sabi.
sabi.
Love. Definitely take a look.
What is your recommendation of the week?
This is probably duplicative for anyone who is actively on the internet. As you will probably have already seen this young man blow up, go extremely viral recently. But my recommendation is to take a look at the Instagram account, Kaluputix. And this is the account of a maybe young teenage boy who lives in Ethiopia who is
Mhm.
an incredible fashion designer, making his fashions from completely upcycled materials.
So cool.
So cool. Yeah, he's been on my page all week,
Yep.
and I think that the concept of what he's doing is so simple but so effective.
Mhm.
And as an environmentalist, I love an upcycled moment. I
Absolutely.
participated in college in what was called the Eco Fashion Show, where I made outfits out of upcycled materials. So it's also very close to home because I've attempted to make that work, and it is
Right.
very challenging. And I made two looks, one each year, and it took me like a month or more leading up to this fashion show to create my look.
Uh-huh.
And this kid is making a ton of outfits.
Yeah.
And
He's so resourceful, so much
yes,
ingenuity, so much creativity. It's really stunning.
next, you know what I want to see? That
do so.
BTS, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. I need to see the creative process, please. So
No,
drop
I'd be
that.
really intrigued to see what materials he has, if he has a sewing machine, if he's doing this by hand, if he
Hmm.
has even simple things, what we might think of simple, like an iron, an ironing board, things
Oh,
that you
yeah.
can use to manipulate the material. So I'll be very
Yes.
curious because he has gotten so much attention so quickly. I'll be very
Hmm.
curious what his trajectory is, whether or not he gets literally hired to work in some fashion house in Paris, or if he pursues the continuation of this content, or what that might look like. But really cool vision and beautiful side of social media.
Absolutely. Stunning. Really, really cool work. Thanks for sharing that with the world. We love it.
Yes, we do.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think that does it for this week. Thank you everyone for tuning in yet again. Please like and subscribe. If you haven't already, take a look at our Instagram account, our TikTok account,
All the
and
channels.
all the channels. We are there. We are trying to do it all. And yeah, please continue to share this with folks who you think might find it interesting. And we will see you all next week.
Have a beautiful week. Thank you.